Today on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to give a recap of two very important rounds. Round number 5 and round number 6 of this year's Wrangler National Finals.
We're going to talk to some of the athletes that really cashed in over the 10 days. T.J. Gray in the bull riding cashed in the most money. He walked away with the Top Gun Reserve World Champion in the bull riding as well. And he came home to have surgery, but he's going to tell us a little bit about that experience coming up in the show.
And most of you know by now that there were 4 rookies who qualified in the top 15 of the bull riding, went to the National Finals Rodeo, but who was number 5? Well, he finished in the top 25 in the world standings, and he's kicked off his new season off with a bang.
And I like the mindset that he has coming into tonight. Let's be the champ. Keep it going. Let's be the champ. Finish strong, you bet. New York, I can't hear you. That means he can't hear you. Come on.
Welcome to the Cowboy Channel, the exclusive home of the PRCA and your destination for the very best in rodeo action.
WSR is now live on YouTube. You can watch the real show in real time on both Cowboy Channel and your YouTube live stream, giving you even more ways to stay connected with us and to Western sports.
Howdy, everybody. Glad you could join us for this Wednesday. Elise Sutherland and Justin McKee getting ready to take you through the biggest stories in Western sports here live at the Cowboy Channel. And our Kubota top story of the day is T.J. Gray, the winner of the aggregate in the bull riding this year at the NFR.
And to get things kicked off, it's our Kubota top story presented by Kubota. Together we do more, but no one was doing more winning than T.J. Gray. I would like to point out, or bringing home more money than what he did at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. But rather than coming home to a vacation, a ski trip, or anything like that, he came home for ankle surgery.
Yeah, he's been battling that ankle for quite some time. Matter of fact, all year, as he's had his second surgery here in the last few months, and he was really gritting out, riding with a lot of pain during the National Finals Rodeo, and he joins us right now on Western Sports Roundup. TJ, first of all, thank you. Second of all, congratulations on winning that aggregate at the NFR.
I sure do appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
This has been a lot of fun watching you, and I was just telling you, I mean, I got to watch the rodeo from right here in Fort Worth, all 10 rounds, and cheered for you every single one, which was really easy to do given how well you did. When it came to the preparation and knowing you were going to have to battle this injury going into the NFR, what did that prep look like for you to set the game plan to be so successful over all 10 rounds?
It actually wasn't too bad dealing with the injury, and I knew it wouldn't be too bad riding. It's more preparation for next year, getting the surgery done now, to make sure it doesn't give me problems later on this next year, later on in life. So as far as prepping for the NFR or riding with it during the finals, it didn't give me too big of problems. I wasn't too good of a runner, but I haven't been able to shuffle around too fast for about a year. So, yeah, as far as riding, it wasn't too big of a problem.
All right, so most everybody knows by now that you have won the most money. You have an unbelievable amount of money, being the Top Gun Award winner by bringing home the most money in a single event. You rode 7 out of 10 bulls. But I want to go back to this injury because I think it's very interesting. Where did the injury, the broken ankle first begin? Because I know you've had a couple of surgeries since that.
It first began at Sisters, which is the beginning of June. It was a little too swelled up, so I couldn't get surgery on it till during Reno time, so towards the end of June. Once I got surgery, probably come back to riding a little too soon. Didn't play it as smart as maybe I could have. Got an infection in it, thought I got it fixed in September. So it was just kind of shuffling around all year, trying to get as healthy as I could be to get through. And then, yeah, getting through the NFR and figuring out that, yeah, maybe I'm not as healthy as I could be, and I need to get it fixed correctly for the new season. So, yeah, I got surgery yesterday, got it taken care of, and should be good to go coming February, about middle of February, and ready to get back after it and have a successful 26 season.
I'm really fascinated by your attention to detail and strategy, because you were just talking about how you spent all of 2025 battling that, working through it, figuring out the surgeries, figuring out your schedule, all the way into the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. And was the surgery scheduled after the rodeo was over, or is this something that you knew was coming pretty much right when you got back?
We didn't really have a super good idea of what things were going to look like, as far as it was kind of playing by ear whether the infection was going to still be in the ankle or not. I was taking antibiotics and stuff. And then, get down to it and realize, I am going to have surgery, which is at a good time, because basically I'd rather start the year off with a surgery, and then once I get healthy, just stay healthy all year, than have to break up my year in the middle of it. So it really is, it's going to work out good. And coming kind of off a hot streak into surgery, I can keep the fire lit and stay excited about getting on bulls.
Okay, now I want to get into this competition, because we are watching some amazing video right here. And I want to compliment you. As I said, 7 out of 10. You won 3 go-arounds and an amazing amount of money. You rode 2, then bucked off 3 before you went 5 in a row to finish off your final 10 rounds right there. So in round 5, that 86-point ride, how did that set you up to ride the last 5?
86-point bull ride. That was on Bugatti, Phenom Genetics, Sankey Pro Rodeo.
Yes.
I was coming off. I stayed on first 2. I think rounds 3 and 4, they kind of bucked me off fair and square, and then I might have gotten my head a little bit in round 5 and bucked off. Coming into round 6, getting on that Bugatti bull we're watching right there. If you see, don't show it. I smacked my head pretty hard coming off of them on the ground, and I straightened me out for the rest of the week. I think I just decided to have some fun with the rest of my time out there, and just felt really blessed to, be back at the National Finals Rodeo. What a fun opportunity. So I was just going to enjoy it for what it was.
I want to point out the total money, $295,000. That's the official money right there. That's not how much you won. That $295,000 still wins you the Top Gun for the most money in a single event, but you actually won over $330,000 for the 10 days right there. That is amazing. Now, the reason there's a difference there is because of the ground money doesn't count in the Top Gun award. I was going, wait a minute, did he win 330 or 295 here? What's the deal? It was the ground money.
That got pretty interesting, and we didn't even see the ground money really come into play until later on, which was really fascinating about the rodeo. But when it comes to the Top Gun, by round 10, there was 5 athletes that were in the running for having the Top Gun award going home with them. You were not one of those 5, but was this title even on your radar by the time you got into the things had to go not great for some other people, or the way that they would have hoped in the final round, but you walked away with it. Was it something that even crossed your mind going into the rodeo that you could go home with something like this?
Going into the rodeo, yes. Going into round 10, and I didn't think there was a shot at it at all. I honestly hadn't heard till now how much I had won. You said we were saying 330. With you hadn't done math yet, had you? I was a little confused about it all, so I wasn't sure exactly how much I had won that counted for the Top Gun, and that had not. What was the ground money included?
Well, there you go.
It was a big surprise. The Top Gun was a big surprise to me for sure.
It was a good surprise.
I want to surprise you with something else, because I did some crunching around and did some digging. That is that's the second best rodeo total earnings ever in the history of the game. Ty Hamilton beat you by a few $100 in 2023 for the most money ever earned at a rodeo. That's the second best of all time, so not too shabby.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat how much money we have at the National Finals Rodeo. Gets better and better, and the opportunities we have is amazing.
I feel like you're one of those people that I can't even call you a sleeper, but there's so many athletes I feel like that move loudly through the sport, but you kind of move with this quiet vengeance, this quiet confidence and ability. But when you look through what you were able to get done at the NFR for those 10 rounds, would you consider yourself, if you look at all the scores that you had, some people would say they're riding one bull at a time, but you were so great on an average. Did you look at the NFR going into it each night as basically a different rodeo, or did you have it in the back of your mind that you had, all right, 1 down, 9 to go, 8 down, you know, things like that?
Yeah, I think the general consensus when you go to the national finals and what works best for me is just getting on one at a time. And
interesting.
10 bulls is, it goes the same in the middle of the summer when you're getting on 10 bulls. You can't be looking a week ahead. You got to be present where your feet are. So I just tried to have fun on the bull I have for that night, and whether it goes in my favor or not, just kind of stay focused on that, because if you get ahead of yourself, then it don't seem to work out in your favor as often.
Hey, we can't get out of here without talking about your hand. You're the guy that has the hand backwards. I know Trevor Rice broke his hand and had to do that, but I think you did it more out of choice. Or remind me if you had an injury when you turned your hand the other way.
I did have an injury that was preventing me from holding on. I don't know if it was an injury or if I'm just a sissy and couldn't hold on regular. It hurt too much, but yeah, I did switch around last June, year and a half ago, I guess, 2 Junes ago. And I always said I would switch back, and I haven't yet. And I've kind of been making some good money, so I don't know if I will.
That was my next question. Okay, we ran out of time. I wasn't even supposed to ask that question, so thank you for answering it. TJ, congratulations. I'm thankful you got that infection surgery again this week, and maybe you won't have to do that anymore, and you'll be ready to go probably right after San Antonio. But thank you for joining us.
Sounds good. I sure do appreciate you having me on.
TJ Gray had a great trip to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, but round 5 was an exciting one across all events. We're going to recap the rough stock side of things next on Western Sports Roundup.
And later, he's going to meet Lane Vaughan. He was a rookie bull rider in the PRCA this last season, finishing the top 5, but he is off and rolling on the PBR Velocity Tour. Pendleton Roundup Velocity Tour has been good to him this last weekend. We'll visit with him in just 30 minutes.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of cowboys everywhere. We live it every day.
The Cowboy Channel's NFR recap is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride in boots and jeans that work as hard as you do.
In or out, good right there. Sets it high. Wow. She's back down. Coming around this corner, she's lost in the fence. Comes off the fence. Now she's going rocker. Man, a lot of exposure, a lot of snap of the speed at the end.
Average is $49,000 behind Ryder. He's got Ed Bishop. He's got a chance to win big in this round.
I like his style.
Finish this corner. I love his style. And man, he's good finish right there in front of him. He may get ahead of Zeke right here.
Rodeo, this is a good bull. Goes to the left right there. Come on, JR. Show him your stuff, Kansas. Come on, you got to keep pumping.
Yeah,
this bull gets stronger. You got to keep pumping. You got to keep pumping.
Now we're going to see a 90.
Well, it was a big round number 5 indeed, halfway point, and also round 5 means that is going to be the rank pin in all 3 rough stocks. So what do you say we break down the rough stock and relive an amazing round 5 at the halfway point of this year's Wrangler National Finals?
It was plenty exciting. We're going to kick this off with the first event that you see in rodeo, Rocker Steiner and Lunatic Heaven. Let's talk about a world champion bucking horse and a now world champion bareback rider to go with him for 89 points. Now in this round, when he finally gets this win, this made a huge statement, Justin, for his race to the world title, because this is a horse that he'd been wanting to get on, and to match a horse with that caliber in this ride, he knew he had something special.
Yeah, it was a perfect matchup. Hollywood could not have scripted that any better. Remember, he got the round win in round 2. This was his second go-around win. He's number 1 chasing his world championship. And that horse right there from Brooklyn Rodeo Company provided the ticket to that big 89 and the go-around win.
Rocker Steiner, number 1 in the world, and you draw the number 1 horse of the year. Why was Lunatic Heaven the match made in heaven tonight?
You know, that horse, it's been around for a while, but you know, the last year it's just been incredible, and it's one I've wanted, and obviously, like, rodeo's doing the summer when you don't get it, you're a little mad, but hey, this is the greatest place in the world to have it, and I just can't be thankful enough to have this horse. Oh my God. Right here, I think we got stuck in the wall a little bit, but I let the feet go right here, and Brookman has a great horse on their hands, and I'm just lucky to draw him.
Yeah, it was not an easy trip from Lunatic Heaven tonight. When that horse kind of came around the corner, got into the fence, you just opened up even more. What does that say about your mentality in round 5?
You know, I've left here 3 times without a gold buckle, and I'm not doing that no more. So if I got a chance to let my feet go, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Well, congratulations to Rocker on round 5. Let's continue in round number 5. Here comes Damian Brennan. Remember, he came in with his jaw set to win a world championship this year, but he had a big ride there in the round 2. It was big, but then a no score in round 4. This is round 5. He redeemed himself from that no score the night before.
You know, Justin, his career has been nothing short of impressive so far, and I love that we're able to use the AI perspective from this as well, so you can really see the extension from that horse. You can really see how vulnerable Damo made himself. He rides so textbook correct, but plenty exciting, and he didn't realize that this was as good of a ride as it was until the very end of it, and it was him with the round win.
Damian Brennan makes a big comeback from the eliminator round, but Damo, I want to talk about that horse. How much of a career-changing horse has Ed Bishop been for you?
It's been huge. You know, when I just first started, made my first NFR, I got the win at Houston on that horse. So that was a massive booster for myself to get rolling and make my first NFR. And now here I am trying to fight out for a world title, and it gives me a round win. So it's pretty cool.
How much did you need a draw like that to have a comeback?
Yeah, exactly. You know, after last night's little effort, I really needed a good horse tonight, and me go out there and do my job, and it all worked out.
Take us through the magic that was this 90-point ride.
Yeah, that was an outstanding horse. I got a good spur out, and just kept staying ahead of him and just beating him to the ground, and it felt amazing going across there.
It was incredible. Congratulations.
Thanks, Janie.
Ride for the Australian and a great horse from Survey Rodeo Company. Let's go to the other rough stock event. It's J.R. Stratford. He's been battling injuries, but man, does he come up with a monster 90.5 on Deal Me In from Raptor H Rodeo Company. This bull came in with a perfect buck-off record. In 2 years, nobody had been able to stay on him.
You have to love a heartwarming story. This is his second career appearance at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. His first since 2022. He won round 3 back then and then missed 5 through 10 in 2022. Unfortunately, later on, that was a similar story here. But his journey back to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo made this win that much better.
J.R. Stratford, what an incredible showing. You have now ridden 4 out of the last 5 bulls, moved into #1 in the aggregate. Can you put it into words?
No, ma'am. This is a blessing. I've had some tough years to get here, but it's been a long time coming.
Through the 3 surgeries, you had to miss 2 years out of the NFR. Does that make a win like this mean that much more?
Yeah, I didn't know what my future held, but I know God is good, and I'm thanking him to be right here.
Your future definitely held some big-time bull rides. 90.5 points on the bull Deal Me In. What took it to the next level on a great night of bull riding?
That bull bucks really hard. I saw him in San Angelo, and I thought to myself, I want a piece of that one. And when the draw come out last night, I couldn't hardly sleep.
It was an incredible ride with 5 rounds left to go, and you being #1. What are you looking forward to in finishing out this NFR?
Just letting the good times roll and keep having fun, and that's for the Cherokee Nation right there.
Awesome job. Congratulations.
Janie.
J.R. Stratford, what a showing.
What a heartwarming story. I told you that's something that's really fun to watch. We watched Rocker come in there with this round, put up that 89 points right there on Lunatic Heaven, start things in a very big way halfway through the NFR Demo. He finally got that round win as well. And then J.R. Stratford, he told you himself just how special that was.
Yeah, 2 other things, maybe 3 other things happened right there. Sam Peterson, who quietly did very well, but he was second and third a lot, and Rocker kind of stole the spotlight. But Sam was second in that round. And
88 3/4.
Yeah, he did.
It was big.
Yeah, no doubt about it. An amazing finals. This was also the round that Ryder Wright had a no score for missing a horse out in. And then Bryce Jensen really started to make his move with a second place finish in a bull riding that would eventually get him the Resistol Rookie of the Year. So not just the TV pin, not just the first placers, but there were storylines abounding in round 5. And stick around. When we come back, we're going to jump into the timed events of go around #5. Recap some great memories from another big round of the NFR.
Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in Rock and Roll Denim.
All in.
Cowboy Channel's NFR Recap is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride in boots and jeans that work as hard as you do.
Carly Otero, she won round 3 with a 13.54.
Yeah, here comes Regina. She was coming in hot to that first barrel. Oh, gosh, good. Man, they are just getting faster and faster
and faster.
Go. He's out. Got it on him. Big chance for John right here. Catch him in the air, flank him. We got a chance to take the lead right here. Go on, John Douch. You know, 7-4.
Absolutely,
7-4. He just aged out of the fraternity.
Boy, that was a
rodeo.
catch right there.
New leader.
Man.
Well, he does right there. Don't get finished. Yes, sir.
Wow. Oh, got 3 and 4.
Wow, it just makes me excited to be reliving these moments, especially when we could hear not only the crowd, but our commentators as well. Hearing Butch Knowles go, and faster, and then you hear Joe B talking about John finally getting that round win, his second of the time, and then Scott Gunther. It doesn't get any more exciting getting to relive these moments. And there was 10 rounds, but we get to be going over these. We already talked about the rough stock side of things. The timed event side, just as exciting.
Scott Gunther is the Canadian champion. Matter of fact, he wiped them out at this year's Canadian Finals Rodeo. He won every round. Well, he got a round in round 5 of the NFR as well. Scott Gunther, he's been trying to retire. You know, he's just been trying to retire, but he just keeps winning too much money. He just automatically, on autopilot, qualifies in the top 15 the last couple of years.
In these first couple of rounds, he had been having some trouble in the draw. He said that he finally needed a draw like this one with a steer like this to be able to push him from that position where he was. You could see it all over his face. He knew that he had a good one, that he was able to win it on, and he capitalized.
And 3-4 would end up being the fastest time in steer wrestling at the National Finals Rodeo. So Canada, congratulations. Speaking of Canada, here's another Canadian, Colton Schmidt and Jonathan Torres. They ripped one in 3.7. Now remember, these guys are at the bottom of the top 15 coming in. They've never roped before, and they are borrowing horses for the NFR. Are you kidding me? And they start doing stuff like this every night, it seems like.
They got to practice so briefly before any of this, and when they came together, they were so much fun to watch. But I think Colton, having roped with several different partners this year, Torres has been with Nelson Wyatt all year long. They had to be aggressive from the start. They had to be aggressive with their throws, and that's exactly what they did the entire rodeo. It was fun to watch.
Well, they got to be aggressive because they went out in go around number 1. We say it all the time. If you're going to go out in round 1. Let's go to some tie-down roping, and how about John Douch, the big guy. Tons of muscle, but he's got the hustle to go along with it. 7.4 and second in the aggregate right here on his horse, Bo. 7.4 was a great time and a great round to get the win for $36,000.
We've seen some horse changes with him before. It was really fun to listen to Joe B talk about this. As many times as John has been to the NFR, it's wild to me that this is only his second go-around win and his first since 2023. That was a big one, and his plan was just to keep building on each and every round after that. But let's move it on to the barrel racing, because this next event, Carly Otero, Regina George, this cowgirl, she's going to be winning on whatever horse she has. She's such a great jockey, but this one, Regina George is special.
Yeah, moved to number 4, and she was only $27,000 out of first place right here with another go-around win. And Carly, I remember when Regina George and her showed up at Reno this year, and I asked her about the horse. I said, well, I don't know. And then she ended up winning tons of money at Reno. They continue to dominate. Fast run right here. They continue to put together an incredibly impressive finals.
She was lower on the ground right here, so she was able to watch all of the athletes right before her and say, oh, I knew I could get it sent on this ground right here. Here's a look at everyone here in the time limits. Round 5 winners, a 3-4, 3-7, 7-4, a lot of seconds, and they were fast.
Carly Otero gets 4 go-around wins right there at the National Finals Rodeo, all total. This is at the midway point, how things are shaping up. Looking good for Rocker. Everything's coming together. And then same for Tanner Tomlinson. He, along with Jake Long, both doing quite well. Ryder Wright was out of the average, though, even though he still led the world.
Keep in mind that this is the midway point of the finals. This is only round number 5. We already know what happened, so just pretend like you don't for a second, because we get to deep dive a little bit deeper into these rounds, one at a time. But at that midway point, that's when things really, truly started to shift in the arena, because people knew where they stood. They knew that they had to step up, or they knew they had to bring back. And it was a lot of fun, and we will continue that in round 6.
Yep, and we're going to do just that coming up next. We're going to break it down, go around number 6, had some elements. That's when we start talking about that aggregate bonus about round 6. So things really do dynamics-wise, go to turning rapidly, almost as fast as Cornbread can get around barrel number 3.
Fedor.
Cowboy Channel's NFR recap is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride in boots and jeans that work as hard as you do.
Stetson Wright get the win tonight in the bull riding, but how much did you use what happened in the bronc riding to fuel you in that ride?
Well, considering the bronc riding, I was pretty fired up. I knew my feet were there, so going into the bull riding, I just, they don't want me to have it. I'm going to come and earn it, and they ain't taking it from me. I'm here to stay. I'm ready to ride, and it's all good. I'm happy. I'm healthy. Well, I'm healthy, wealthy, handsome, and happy, and I'm glad to be here.
So round number 6 of this year's National Finals Rodeo will undoubtedly be the most controversial, maybe in the history of 67 years of NFR. Stetson Wright, what he was referring to was the miss out. The judges got him at the gate, said he did not mark that horse out. Here comes the replay again, and there's the flag. And then the instant replay came shortly after this.
Honestly, this was one of those things that when the flag hit the ground, I think that was a shot that was heard around the world, especially in the sport of rodeo, because it was all over social media. It was all over the arena that night, all over people's faces. I know I was hooping and hollering at the TV because whether you agree with it or not, that was still a call that was made. And like you said, with that being controversial, that was an interesting thing. But what we were able to hear was how Stetson responded after that, and especially in the bull riding, and the way that he carries himself with such grace and kindness and humility is truly something that I think will need to go in that history book right alongside him.
Yeah, handled it with a lot of class. There's no doubt about that. But the other thing that there's no doubt about it impacted greatly his opportunity at a Triple Crown. It impacted his ability to win over $1 million and another a world championship there as well in 3 categories. So with that said, Ron Howard is the director in charge of judging, and this is his statement.
When a judge makes a call in the arena, we work diligently to confirm or overturn the call in a timely manner. He went on to say, with 12 independent cameras and 2 dedicated video officials, the review process is important to our rodeo and the fairness of competition. That is what Ron Howard had to say from the PRCA. There's a lot of things that have gone into this, and a lot of money that's getting put into the sport of rodeo. But like you said, it's also impacting the money that's going to these contestants too, that they're working hard for.
Right, no doubt about it. And the conversation continues. Every time you open up Facebook, if you're in this business, there is a conversation about the markout rule and potentially how maybe, allegedly, the replay judges could have overturned and didn't. Now, I did have a conversation with the CEO of the PRCA, Tom Glaus, when he was on Western Sports Roundup, and I said, Tom, is there anything you'd like me, this is the day after this happened, I said, is there anything you'd like me to relay this, because Joe Beaver's coming on, we're going to have a conversation. He said, yeah. He said, tell the folks watching on the Cowboy Channel that during a professional other sporting event like in the NFL, they don't come on at halftime and explain and come out with a statement. And I said, okay, so you're looking at the NFR as one big event, not individual nights round by round. And he said, yes. So I'm expecting that, since he said we're not coming out with anything now because it's halftime of the rodeo, that there will be a statement coming out, an official statement maybe from him or somebody else, or an explanation. I'm hopeful for that. And maybe I read into that too much. But anyway, that was a conversation that we had. There's the yellow flag. Not going to overturn it right now. But here's the thing. And I want to say this clearly. This is an opportunity to grow. An opportunity to grow. I know personally, when I mess up, I learn from it, and I try not to do that again, and we start moving forward or upward, and that's what I hope happens here.
I really do too. There's a lot that we can all learn from a situation like this. But like I said, what you can also learn from is how Stetson handled it and how that's what we do here in the sport of rodeo. And especially after something like that, he moved on with vengeance into the bull riding. Insurrection, 88.5 points. Interestingly enough, that Stockyards Rodeo, I had CK Reed on the NFR tailgate that day, and I asked him if he had any advice for Stetson, what he would give him if he were on the back of the bucket chutes. And he says, all you got to tell that kid is how to get to the pay window. And he went to the pay window for a lot of money.
Big time. He owned him, I guarantee you. I mean, there was no way that you could have shot him off there with a cannonball. I mean, no way. He owned that bull. 9 qualified rides in the bull riding that night as well. I think Stetson's situation fired up everybody in the building.
It really did.
Especially those other bull riders.
It did. And after you look at the standings after that, looking after round number 6, Stetson Wright, Lacey Shalla, Kai Hamilton, Tristan Hutchings, J.R. Stratford was in the number 5 position, T.J. Gray in the number 6. Like we said, this is where this was sitting after round 6. You'll want to keep an eye on how things moved on throughout the rest of the rodeo, because I like you brought up that it got a little aggressive after that. People were fired up and ready to rodeo.
And that was a third go-around win. He would move to number 2 in the aggregate with a whole lot of momentum in the bull riding. So that was really kind of when things peaked in a good way for the bull riding. And oh man, I can't believe that that ride wasn't 90 though, 88.5. At least he got the go-around win. So with that said, let's go on to some of the rest of the results. And here comes brother Statler Wright. And this is Renegade. This is the gray horse that Stetson had in a previous round. And then brother Statler came back and he goes 90 and will best big brother by, I believe, a quarter of a point. And that is a horse from Lane Vaughan Rodeo Company out of Canada. Spectacular 2 nights.
You know, he said that he felt like he had ridden the best that he had ever done before that until he got on this horse and does it yet again. But again, fast forward to how the rest of the rodeo ended up. Statler continued to keep rising to the top of the leaderboard time and time again. He was fired up and ready to go, but so was Cade Saunier in the bareback riding. It was a tough start to the Wrangler National Finals for him. He needed something like this. This is a great horse from Sankey's Lane to Fancy, one of my favorite horses to get to see on the road. And to see these two paired up together, Cade really needed a reason to fight, and then that horse gave it to him.
Well, moving into his hand right there, that right-hand circle, he knew he was going to have that button hook right there, and it was beautiful. That's his first go-around buckle ever. Land of Fancy from Sankey is a monster size, a super whopper-sized horse right there. It was a fantastic outing for Cade Saunier, and that was a game changer. That was a career changer for him. That actually put him back in the race, and he would finish strong after that. But that was the game changer for him so far.
And let's move it on to the time limit side of things. Ty Erickson, 3.5 seconds. The steer whistling had me on the edge of my seat, on my tiptoes every single night, because it just kept shifting around. Just when you thought someone had a steer to get it done on, something would happen. Just when you thought someone had the out or someone was ready to give you everything that they had, and then again, something just kept happening. But Ty Erickson's 3.5 right here, whew, this was a fun one.
Well, that was another one of the fastest runs on one of the fastest rounds, but I enjoyed watching his horse crush. Look at that horse pin its ears, get him position. That was his second go-around win. At that point, he won $140,000 and more money than anybody at the beginning in one round. Now let's go to the team roping. How about Tomlinson and Grays? Tanner and Travis Grays, 3.4. This was the fastest round in team roping right here. Tanner would be #1 in the world after this round, and Travis Gray, TG, 16 times to the finals. That was a new round 6 record, 3-4, fastest run ever in round 6.
And that came 2 runs after Summers and Corkle matched the round record at a 3-6. 2 runs before that, and they came in and said, hey guys, we're not done yet. This is the duo's first round win together, and I think it's the first of many.
And remember, that's just 1/10 of a second off of the all-time arena record at 3-3. Let's go to some tie-down roping, and we knew San Angelo was going to have a big week. Didn't know which one or all of them, but we knew this. Joel Harris had the fastest run in round number 6, and he got fired up too. Man, there was a lot of emotions in the Thomas and Mack this year.
There really was, and he said that anytime you lay down a steer in there and get a placing in Thomas and Mack, it's a really big deal, but especially if you can go back to the winner's circle repeatedly, and that's what he kept doing. There is something about Joel Harris at the NFR and in these setups like this and on Peso that they just get along so well, and it was, wow, was it lights out.
And wow for Peso, that horse, bringing that gift to him. How about this? Cornbread. She'd only just loped a practice pattern before she got on Cornbread at the middle part of the NFR. 13:42 for Cassie Mowry. I guess it doesn't matter what she rides. She goes back to #1 in the aggregate and extends her lead in the world standings with a round win.
Having round wins on multiple horses is such an incredible feat at the NFR, especially in one year. But if you guys want to look into anything, Judd Little has had such an impact on the barrel racing industry, and the horses that we're seeing, you can see that JL right there, and the horses that we saw at the NFR this year. Cassie Mowry is a jockey, she's a horseman, and wow, was it exciting.
You know, there's been a few barrel racers win money on multiple horses, but to win go-arounds on multiple horses in the same year, that is a real short list. So there it is, round number 6, from land to fancy down to insurrection on the stock side of things, and this is how things would shape up on the world standings race.
A little bit of a shift right there. You see Will Loomis in the #1 position, and Tomlinson and Corkle. Ryder Wright was hanging on to that #1 spot, and Shad Mayfield also in the tie-down roping. Bull riding and all around. Stetson started really picking up checks, and he started running away with that opportunity right there. Round 6 got exciting, but there's plenty more left to get to. But that's just a little taste of what we got to witness in our own perspective from the NFR.
Man, it's good to relive that right here on Western Sports Roundup. When we come back, Lane Vaughan will join us on Western Sports Roundup. He just missed a trip to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this year, but he's making up for it here in 2026. Find out about a big win over the weekend for this cowboy when we come back.
and I like the mindset that he has coming into tonight. Let's be the champ. Keep it going. Let's be the champ. Finish strong, you bet. New York, I
Whiskey Velocity Tour from Albany, New York, and that is young 20-year-old Lane Vaughn sticking it on that bad boy to get the win. He was the only rider to ride all three, and if that name is familiar, he was in this incredibly talented set of rookie riders in the PRCA this past season. We'll talk more about that later, but anyway, he gets the win to kick off his Velocity Tour season in the PBR. Clear on the other side of the country from Klamath Falls, Oregon. He goes to Albany, New York, and Lane Vaughn joins us here today. First of all, congratulations on the big win over the weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Walk us through your bulls, because you're the only guy to ride all three bulls. Starting off in round one, you had solid rides all the way through there. Tell us about this bull, what you knew before you got on him.
Well, the first bull I had there, I got a re-ride on him. He didn't quite have the trip he was supposed to, so they gave me a re-ride, and I didn't know much about him, but I figured he'd be good if he was there, and he was just perfect and ended up winning the round on him.
And not only that, but you spurred him up right there, too. You had to have felt the beautiful, sweet spot in the center of that spin to do that.
Oh, yeah, no, he felt real good.
So in the next round, you had Radical Dude. You went 85 and a quarter points right there. And certainly the momentum from that first ride carried on into round two, apparently.
Oh, yeah, no, I seen that bull the night before, and I was talking to one of my buddies, and I was like, man, I wouldn't mind having him tomorrow. And draw came out at midnight, and I seen I had him, and I couldn't sleep. I knew that I had that one rode as long as I showed up and did my job, and it worked out.
Yeah, spinning away from your hand like that, you can really see how you were focused on staying square, right?
Oh, yeah, no, he's one of those bulls that feels really good, but you got to ride him right or he'll buck you off. And no, it was one of the best feeling bull rides I've had in a while, that's for sure.
And he's also one of those bulls that can make you feel silly if you buck off after you started him that good.
Yeah.
All right, so round number three, equally as good, and congratulations again, working man. And this had some hop and skip right there. Dirty, I mean, nasty hard to ride. And were you just 80 points on that bull?
Yeah, no, I was 80, and he made me work for every bit of the points. You know, I talked to one of the guys there before, and he's like, yeah, you know, he used to go to them big PBRs and had an off trip, so they brought him back down here, and they're like, you could be 80 points and he's going to make you work for it, or he could be 90 and he's still going to make you work for it. So I didn't really know what all I was in for, but I just knew if I kept my hand shut and rode him for what he did, it'd all work out and we'd end up getting the win.
Yeah, that radically the complete opposite of your second round bull right there.
Yeah.
No kidding. There's your total, 251.9. You get the championship there, almost $7,000 and a trip to Albany. What was your biggest takeaway when it was all said and done?
Oh, just same thing it's been, is just making every opportunity I get count, no matter if the bull goes right, left, or if he's wild. And, you know, like I felt like I got on a little bit of everything there. Good ones in my hand, good ones away, and then just something you never could set a trap for, and you just had to ride them for what they did.
Yeah, that was one of the best 80-point rides I've ever seen, by the way.
It felt like I was going to be quite a bit. When they said 80, I kind of was a little surprised, but
yeah, so was I. Okay, let's talk about your PRCA season. So you won the permit finals a year ago. Then you won the Columbia River Circuit finals right there in your backyard. But I want to focus on this class of rookies that you had. You had a real strong start to the season because the money from the circuit finals counted. So you were way up in the top 2 or 3 in that rookie race, and you maintained top 5 all year. Your 4 brothers in this rookie race, your 4 compadres, make the NFR. Tell me about how outrageously talented your class was in the rookie category this year.
Oh, I knew there was going to be some good guys. It seems like every year there's some names that you quite ain't heard of, but they show up and they ride good. And I knew a lot of them in the rookie race this year, and every one of them that went to the finals, I knew they rode good. And it pushed me to be better, you know, like having those guys ride so good all the time made me want to ride just as good, if not better than them, so I could be there at the finals with them. And no, they just rode great all season, and I feel like made me a better bull rider getting to compete with those group of rookie guys this year.
Yeah, I know you had to be proud watching their performance at the NFR too. They were all spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like every one of them was riding lights out.
Yeah. So who did you know the most? Who have you known longest in your rookie class?
Oh, it was kind of between Hudson and Bryce. I met them both at the permit finals in Waco in 24, and been rodeoing with them ever since.
So who are you going to? Well, first of all, I guess we've got to cover the first base here. You got a good start with the PBR. You had great success finishing the top 25 in the world standings in your rookie year in the PRCA. Are you going to have to pick and choose? You're going to try to balance both? What's 2026 look like for Lane Vaughn?
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of thought into it. I think I'm going to stick with the PRCA. Like I entered Albany because I didn't have nothing going on, and I sat out last year for a couple weeks because there wasn't no pro rodeos to go to, and I felt like I didn't come back as sharp as I should. So I wanted to keep myself getting on bulls as much as I could. So that's why I went up to Albany. But no, my main goal this year is to make the finals and
make
in the
NFR.
top 5. Yeah, make the NFR in the top 5. Like, I want to try and stay as far away from that bubble position as I can.
There you go. Hey, so we've seen several rides here away from your hand. Do you ride as good away from your hand as you do into your hand?
I used to not. I used to really struggle with bulls around them left, and no, my dad's helped me out quite a bit with that, and it seemed like this year I started really being able to figure out how to ride bulls away from my hand. And honestly, I think I like bulls to the left now a little more than I do to the right because it feels so good when you're riding one correct away from your hand.
For the young guys that are watching, what's kind of the number one thing that was a game changer on being able to do that right away from your hand?
Just staying square. Like I watched a lot of Stetson Wright, and with him, he rides so wild and just makes it look so flashy and everything. But I feel I'm kind of taller, so I got to stay more control. So I started watching a bunch of videos of Kai and how controlled he stayed. And me and my dad picked some stuff out that like he was doing that kind of I was trying to do, and figured out ways for it to work. And it seemed like it all came together at once, and it all got rolling.
You know, I know this is way back in the time machine, but when I'm talking to older bull riders, and we're talking about modeling yourself, because the taller guys, you just got to do things different. But an older guy is Owen Washburn. He was so tall and so quick. Have you ever studied him any?
A little bit, yeah. I've watched some old bull ridings and watched him, and he definitely was tall, and he figured out ways to make it work.
Yeah, from way back in the 90s, PBR world champion in New Mexico. Well, Lane, congratulations on a real successful season in the PRCA. A great start to your PBR year here in 2026. And look forward to seeing you out on the road and possibly joining us right here with another big win on Western Sports Roundup.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Right, that is Lane Vaughn from Klamath Falls, Oregon. Stick around when we come back. Fetch some top 3 headlines of the day on this beautiful Wednesday from Fort Worth, Texas.
It's time for our top 3 stories of the day, presented by Veterson Clean Treat Heal. On the rough stock side of things, that man right there, T.J. Gray, he had a great second trip to the National Finals Rodeo. Reserve World Champion also ran away with the Top Gun Award, but now he's underway in recovery from surgery.
Yeah, I'm glad he got that infection out of that bad ankle. Also, Lane Vaughan, congratulations. He makes our headlines today. We got to visit with him about his debut win in Albany, New York on the Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour. And we also covered the mark-out controversy from round number 6 and Stetson Wright, and how he came back and made an outstanding bull ride to win that round.
It's been a lot of fun here on Western Sports Roundup today, but here on the Cowboy Channel, you've got a lot of great stuff coming your way too. And if you haven't had the chance to catch the rodeo itself, we're going to re-air it for you, re-watch it. Again, we're going to keep breaking down the rounds right here on Western Sports Roundup, but on the Cowboy Channel radar tonight, round number 4 at 8 o'clock Eastern on the Cowboy Channel.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great programming coming up while we continue to relive the amazing memories from this year's Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Remember, we've got one more event left, the Crown a Champion. That's going to be December 22 and 23 right here in Fort Worth, live on the Cowboy Channel. It's the National Finals of Breakaway Roping, and we will have the top 15 in the world who work very hard to earn their trip to the grand finale right here on the Cowboy Channel. So next week, we're going to find out on the 23rd who's the world champion.
Yes, we will, but that's going to put a wrap on Western Sports Roundup today. For Justin, I'm Elise. Thanks for joining us on Western Sports Roundup. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Good night.